Now, before I start the video, I have one serious statement to make. The Pixel 7 Pro is so far the best phone in the market, and I'm gonna tell you why. Sugar babe. And I say this because the Pixel 7 Pro is a phone that has learned from the mistakes of the 6 Pro and has really grown into one of the most well-polished phones in the market. The Pixel 7 Pro has an amazing software that is arguably smoother than most phones. It has a really good battery that can last you all day even with heavy use, and it's an all-around great phone that'll give you a premium Android experience. And the best part about the Pixel 7 Pro is that it costs around $900, proving that you don't need to spend over $1,300 to get a really premium phone. And there are many reasons why I would tell you guys that the Pixel 7 Pro is still one of the best phones in the market, but I wanted to share my experience with you so that you can see how it holds up in everyday situations. Now, starting with design, the Pixel 7 Pro adopted the same exact look as the 6 Pro, and it looks really good from the unique camera bar all the way down to the curved edges on the display. The design is really good, different, and reliable, so I think that it was an amazing idea to implement the same style of a very popular phone. And again, this phone looks the exact same as the Pixel 6 Pro, from the power button, volume rockers, all the way down to the speakers, USB-C port, with the only difference being the camera bar. And looking at its color, the version that I have is Snow, and this is one of my favorite colors that's been released. It has the very shiny sides along with a glossy back that gives it that right amount of depth and results in a really good looking device. Now, looking at the display, the Pixel 7 Pro has a 6.7-inch LTPO AMOLED display that, just like the Pixel 6 Pro, was very good. Whenever I was scrolling through my phone, it looked very nice, everything looked good. The responsiveness was very precise, and I had no complaints about the overall feel. And I really like how it felt very premium, despite being cheaper than many other premium phones. Now, the 7 Pro has a 120Hz refresh rate. Scrolling through the OS and many different apps felt as smooth as ever, and I was really happy that it was able to keep up after a couple months of use. Now, the 7 Pro can also drop down to a 60Hz refresh rate, so if you're someone who wants to preserve battery life, then the 7 Pro can do that. Now, coming back to the display, the bezels are pretty small. Right here, you can see that they're wrapped nicely around the screen and are much cleaner overall. The hole punch camera is also very small, so it won't bother you whenever you're using your phone. And now when it comes to brightness, the 7 Pro is at 1600 nits, which is a huge improvement from last year's 6 Pro. I was able to see everything very clearly when I was outside, and it really added to the amazing size. Now, when it comes to the size of the 7 Pro, I can't tell you guys whether or not you will love it or hate it, but I do want to list some pros and cons that you can look out for. Now, the pros of having a big screen is that the viewing experience is much better. The battery is bigger, so it'll be able to last longer, and bigger phones tend to have slightly better resolution. But the cons of having a big screen is that it's much harder to use with one hand. Trying to simply reach the top of the screen requires more work, and you'll need some pretty big pockets if you want to store your phone. But again, I want to let you guys outweigh the pros and cons because everyone's needs are different. Now, the responsiveness still holds up very well. I use my Pixel in everyday cases, but I do use it for the gym a lot, and even when I'm sweating a lot and changing the music, it still responds very well. Now, the resolution and viewing experience of the Pixel 7 Pro's display is one of my favorite things that I loved about this phone. I was able to see everything very clearly when watching videos. Playing games on it was as fun as ever, and I wanted to give you guys an idea of what it would look like when watching something and playing the game.
They averaged that 151 over that 7-game win streak. Here they are on the ground, the cook, and he is all the way home for the touchdown.
Now, the Pixel 7 Pro has a 5000 mAh battery that was able to last me all day, and I feel like a really big part of that was the software. And mind you, I'm the type of person who was on my phone scrolling through social media, watching Netflix, texting friends, and many other things that the average person does on their phone. And I'm usually getting over 6 hours of screen time, which is a lot. So if you're someone who is on your phone all day, the Pixel 7 Pro has got you covered. And if I could give you guys a quick estimate, I would say that my battery is usually on 30% by the end of the day, which is really good. So if you're someone who uses your phone less than me, you'll be very satisfied. Now, the last thing that I wanted to touch on when it came to the battery was the charging. My phone was able to charge from 0 to 100% in a little over an hour, and I think that's okay for the battery that you're getting. And I mostly charged my phone overnight, so it really wasn't a big issue. Now, looking at software, The 7 Pro supports Android 13, and just like on any other Android, you have the app drawer that holds and categorizes all your apps. You have the new wallpaper system that is a huge upgrade and feels much smoother on this phone, and you have many more minor things that makes the phone feel even sleeker. And I felt the sleekness all the way through. Pixel phones, over the years have been known to be very smooth, so I'm not shocked at all when I say that this phone did a really great job at handling Android 13. The software was very smooth and worked well, and I feel like most of you guys will realize that in terms of software, it's really not that much different from other top tier models. I also decided to test out some games on my 7 Pro. I play Asphalt 9, which is a game that can really test out the chip, and as you can see, it held up very well and I didn't get any lags while playing. Now the haptics were okay. Sometimes I would feel the vibrations whenever I got a message and sometimes I wouldn't, so the vibration motors could be a little stronger. And now the final thing that I wanted to note is that the Pixel 7 Pro will be getting 5 years worth of software upgrades, so when it comes to longevity, it's pretty much got you covered. Now just like the 6 Pro, the 7 Pro has some really loud speakers that were pretty good whenever I used them. I would usually use them in the house whenever watching videos on social media or YouTube, and I didn't really have to turn it all the way up because of how loud they were on the lower tiers of volume. And I also tested out how they sounded when playing music, and if I'm being honest, they're loud, but the quality isn't the greatest when the volume gets to the max. I also tested out the 7 Pro as my alarm, and I had no problem waking up from it. I didn't have to set multiple alarms, and I didn't really have to worry too much about receiving important notifications whenever I turned on my ringer. And right here, I'm going to give you guys an idea of how the speakers sound.
With a turning shot, he'll keep an audience. Kobe Bryant was bothering him the whole, first early part of the season, and he still played, still competed, didn't look good. How about the headers? How about the pass from Bryant through the legs of Durant?
Now the Pixel 7 Pro has a 50 megapixel main camera along with a 48 megapixel telephoto and 12 megapixel ultra wide, and based on my usage over the past couple of months, I would say that the pictures hold up very well and still look amazing. Now starting with zoom modes, the 7 Pro has a couple of different zoom modes starting from 0.5, 1, 2, and 5. And of course the quality gets dumbed down a bit once you get closer or move to ultra wide, but I found all of the zoom modes to be great when compared to other smartphones. The shutter speed was very good from the start. I decided to test this out by shooting moving cars, and as you can see right here, the camera was able to capture most cars beautifully no matter how fast they were going, so I was pretty satisfied. Next up, I want to show you guys how the camera performed in different environments, and the first environment that I will be starting with is daytime. Now looking at the outside photos, we can see that they have a really great shadow of depth whenever I'm taking pictures of myself, along with a nice blur, and this is scaled all the way up once I use portrait mode. I also took some photos of random street objects, the sky, different aspects of nature, and I can honestly say that the 7 Pro held up very well in these environments, and I'm really impressed. Even in tougher settings, I would pretty much say everything looked good, but the only complaint that I have is the shutter speed whenever the lighting isn't great. Now taking a look at inside photos, the 7 Pro was able to capture everything very nice, and I found the pictures to be slightly more detailed than the 6 Pro, especially in terms of sharpness. Even when taking selfies, you can see how the camera handles already good lighting to produce an overall nicely taken photo. My skin tone looked really good, and the sharpness was at its peak. And now when it comes to shooting video, the 7 Pro was easily the best phone that you can buy in this price range. You have many different modes and frame rates to choose from. With resolution, you have 4K all the way down to 720p, and as far as frame rate, you have 24, 30, and 60. And the mode that I prefer to shoot on is 4K at 30 because it gives you more real life like movements. But if you wanted to be even smoother, you could do 4K at 60. And also in terms of resolution, you could put it down even more if you want to save storage, but I honestly think 4K looks the best. The video stabilization was out of this world. I would shoot videos with my phone, so whenever I'm shooting my subject, I can use everything handheld and the movements will be very smooth, which was very impressive. So all in all, I would definitely say that the Pixel 7 Pro has an amazing video camera that'll give you some consistently good shots. So if you're someone who wants to shoot content or you just want a solid camera, the 7 Pro has got you covered. Also, here's some extra videos that I was able to get. So here's my final question. Is the Pixel 7 Pro worth buying 4 months after it? So here's the final question. Is the Pixel 7 Pro worth buying? Well, in my honest opinion, I think that it's 100% worth buying. The Pixel 7 Pro has everything that any other top tier phone has, from the software to the display to the features, all the way down to the look. so you're actually getting a great phone for a cheaper price. So if you are someone who does prefer the Pixel 7 Pro, it's a great phone that you'll be very satisfied with. But there it is, you guys, my review on the Pixel 7 Pro. And if you guys have any extra questions for me, you can ask them in the comment section down below, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace. Sugar bear.